Hi there. So if you've clicked on this video, then you're probably curious about the accessories that I got for my DJI OSMO Pocket 3. And I got some that you probably heard of and some that you haven't, and some that are kind of risky to use. And if you're wondering why I got those, well, keep watching because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. Okay, we're back. So what accessories am I talking about for the DJI OSMO Pocket 3? You probably thought you've heard of them all by now, but there might be one or two that you haven't. So I'm not sponsored, I don't get stuff sent for free, and therefore I can go look for things. Some things are easy to find and some things might be a little obscure. But I did find a couple of interesting things that you might be curious about. And one of them happens to be this little guy right here. And what is this? It looks like a little hood for Little Red Riding Hood. Well, I'm going to show you on the computer. Let me just call up the computer on here and show you what this accessory looks like. I'm just going to pull up the computer and we'll go over to there, put me in the corner. So now I'm in the corner. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It goes on your DJI OSMO Pocket 3. It costs $18.28. You might be able to find them cheaper. It is a lens hood for the sun. And it has an enlarged opening. Ensure that the blackout effect doesn't interfere with your shots. I can concur with that. I've actually used it. And it offers kind of somewhat a protection against foreign objects. And what they're meaning is if a bird does its business, instead of falling on some critical parts on your gimbal, maybe it'll fall on this and then you can just clean it off afterwards. Now there's strict installation instructions on how to put it on because it can cause interference with your gimbal. So if you don't put it on right, you're going to get an error message. And I can attest to that because I got one myself. This is the dimensions, and I will put it on my Osmo Pocket 3 just to demonstrate what it looks like. So I'm going to go to the other camera here. So now I'm looking into the Sony ZV-E10, and this is what the kit lens, and if you want to know what that looks like, well, hey, that's what it looks like. And I know that they're promoting the Mark II right now. The Mark II is better than the original, but it's also a lot more expensive. And I did do a video on a camera that I would recommend instead, which would be the Sony a6700. And I went for a little bike ride and I talked about my reasonings behind that. So you should check out that video. There's some really good information in there. And there's also a link at the end on the end screen to a person that's got actual video footage from both cameras. It's kind of, if somebody sends you something for free, or they send you a loaner ahead of everybody else, are you really going to say some terrible things about that product and risk that relationship? Kind of like, would you go out and insult one of your friends right now? No, you wouldn't. So to be truly impartial, I've just chose to stay out of that altogether. So this is my DJI OSMO Pocket 3. I'm going to shut it off right now. So it's just switched to vertical mode because it is hooked up to my video switcher. And my video switcher is an OC GoStream Pro video switcher. And I like it a lot, but sometimes when I hit record, it doesn't record. And I find it kind of annoying because then you have to redo everything. So this is the hood. Now you see this little thing right here? You have to make sure that it is facing the hole. So then you place that on there like so, and you should have everything lined up perfectly. And if I've done my job right, I can turn it back on and I can switch it back into its webcam mode. And it is okay. No, it is not. It is not functioning properly. So I did not put it on properly. That's what I mean. You have to put it on properly. So I'm going to switch it off. Okay. it's a bit of a challenge. So this is what I mean. You don't want to install this improperly because you can damage your gimbal. However, in certain situations, you might need this. Okay, so we had to do a little bit of an edit there because I was fussing about with this little device. It has to be put on absolutely perfectly. Now, as you can see, it will keep the light, and I'm just going to switch back over to the Pocket 3 here, take myself out of the corner. Okay, so I'm on the camera now, and I'm just going to turn on the light. Now you see the light, how it's kind of glaring in the there into the lens. So if you were in a situation where the sun was right above you and you needed some protection against that, or maybe you lived in New York City and you wanted to keep the bird droppings off, just keep in mind that you have to be extremely careful when installing and uninstalling this device. Okay, so it is not very expensive. It's only less than $20, but you don't want to damage the gimbal on your camera. So that's it for that device. So that's what it's designed for, and it's a decent accessory, but it's not one that I would use every day. Now, if you were in, let's say, you know, might be snowing a little bit or whatever, but if any bumping of this knocks it out, so if you bump into something, it could cause your gimbal to malfunction because it's just clipped onto there. It moves with the head of the gimbal. So if, you know, if I move around like this, see, it's moving with the gimbal. So that's why you're not getting any of the vignetting around there, because it's actually moving with the gimbal itself. But it just kind of clips on there. It's not all that secure, I guess you could say, but for the price, it's not a bad accessory. It is one of the more obscure accessories. I'm sure it's not totally okay with DJI because of the way it clips onto it, but you know, when used properly and responsibly, I think it could be a very functional accessory. So I'm going to go back to the Sony ZV-E10 because now I have to switch this off again, and we will switch back over to that one. So here I am on the Sony ZV-E10, and I've got to shut this off. So we're going to shut this off, and let me just power this off. And there you go. So it moves with the gimbal. But like I said, you know, you do have to make sure that it is clipped on properly. This part here has to be lined up with this little hole right there. Okay. Now, the other accessory that I have on there is the Sunny Life magnetic mount. And it also has, you know, a nice protective case. And I've also got this cheap little case here too. So the Sunny Life one, let's just go to that one, and we'll see what that one looks like. But before we do go to the Sunny Life one, because you probably already heard of that one, let me just go to this little guy right here, because a lot of people have talked about that one. So this one goes on like so. You turn on your Osmo Pocket, and then what you do is you slide it very carefully over the screen. You see how that works? And what it does is it keeps the sun off your screen so it doesn't wash out your screen on a bright sunny day, because these little LCD screens, they can only go so bright. So it kind of gives it like a professional, kind of like, you know, I've got a monitor, like a tiny little monitor, but it's got its own little hood kind of effect. This one goes on and off very easily. I'm going to go to the computer now, and I'm going to find this one because I really like the way it looks. So let's just go to the computer. I'm in the corner. This one was only $17, which isn't too bad. a little bit overpriced. They could have sold it for as low as $10. But that's the purpose of it right there. It helps keep, you know, and I would imagine it also keeps water and elements a little bit off your screen as well. It offers a little bit of protection on that. Maybe it'll keep it a little warmer in the winter. I don't know, but it goes on and off fairly easily. Let me just, I'm kind of scrolling a little bit fast here. It's scratch resistant and abrasive resistant. So it's not going to deform. And, you know, it goes on. Here's the instructions on how to install it. Just slide it over top like so. And there you go. And that's that one. So I'm going to go back to my Osmo Pocket 3 and let me just queue up that one. So I'm looking back into the Osmo Pocket 3 and now I'm looking at the screen with the little protective cover on it. Now I'm going to take the little protective cover off because it'll slide right off. You're going to see me right there. So there it is, and that's what it looks like. It's a nice little I like this accessory. I like it better than this one. This one, I'm almost scared to use it because I just don't want to break my gimbal. But I do know that in certain situations, if the sun was just, you know, unbearable and it was coming down on certain angles, you may have to use something like this. But I would consider this to be an item of last resort for getting that shot. Let me just turn off the active tracking here. I'm going to push back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now I have this little guy here. Now I've already demonstrated this one. This is a Z-axis controller where you put your Osmo Pocket 3 in here, and then it keeps that little bounce out of your step in case you either can't walk like a ninja like me, or you are in a situation of it's not an option. Maybe you're trying to hold it while you're driving down, like if you're going down a road in a car and you had your Osmo Pocket 3 out the window and you're filming something. Well, your car doesn't walk like a ninja. It's going to be bouncing around all over the place, and this is going to help a lot with that. I will say that when you're using this in selfie mode, don't put the active track on, because as this thing bounces up and down, it's going to move that gimbal head up and down to keep track of your head, and that's just going to, it makes it look worse even than if you just take the active track off. So take the active track off and then just film yourself and just keep yourself in frame by looking at yourself in the camera. It locks in place, and it's also a storage holder. What I don't like about this accessory is that the button for this is on the wrong side. So in order to take your Osmo Pocket 3 off, you have to undo this screw, hit the button, put it all back together again. Now, I did buy another accessory, which is a clip, very similar to this, and it's got the releases on the side, and I thought that would solve my problem. But the only thing is that it's not the same length as this, and therefore your gimbal head won't line up with here. It'll be too short. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And you could, I guess, flip this one around facing the other way, but you have to carve a groove on this side as well. And maybe that doesn't protect your lens as much on your other camera, but that is another option I've considered, is cutting a groove on this side, flipping this around, and then going that route. But then your camera is facing the other direction. So this little guy here, this is just a cover that covers the gimbal for storage. When you're using this in conjunction with the Sunny Life one, and by the way, we're going to get to the Sunny Life one, and we're also going to get into this giant magnet here. So the Sunny Life one has been all over YouTube as one of the best accessories that you can get. So let me just pull up that one right here. Okay, so let me just go back to the computer. Okay, so this is the Sunny Life one, and it is a magnet, and you can put it on your Pocket 3, and you can stick it to a pole, you stick it to your fridge. You know, it helps avoid the possibility of a tripod if you're in the right situation. Some people have mounted it on the front of their scooters. So it is a strong magnet. I don't know if I'd put it on the front of a scooter though, but I would trust it on a balcony and those type of scenarios there, as long as it wasn't like hurricane force winds. Okay, so there's the dimensions, by the way, over here. It's in millimeters, 66 by 68, if you're interested in that. Okay, and that's it for that. And this accessory here, $17.99, so it's one of the better deals. I think, no, there's no coupon unless you buy 3 of them. You have to buy 3. So now it does work very well with the other protection device, which is the cover. And the cover is $19.99, which in my opinion is too expensive. They are giving a 13% coupon, and they have a promotional thing of 10%, so you can probably get it for hopefully the right price, which would be about $10. It is just made of cheap plastic. You know, this is what your Osmo Pocket 3. It's just got a little cover with felt in it. Snap it in place, and away you go. And you can use it with the Sunny Life. It just helps protect your gimbal head. And you can also put it in an aftermarket case. So, and it is good that way. So I'm going to go back to camera 2. So this is the Sony ZV-E10 I'm looking at with the kit lens. This is the Pocket 3 here, and I've got the Sunny Life magnet on there too. And so let me just pop. What was I going to do with this? Oh yes, I'm going to shut this off. And so we're going to shut this off, and I'm going to show you. So I can put the cover on it while it's on the stand, which is kind of nice. So, and just put it on like so. And this part covers the screen. And then you can click it on like so. There you go. So it just clicks on like that. And I can leave it on the stand, and if anyone bumped into the head or whatever, you know, moving stuff around, you know, I can unhook it here, and you know, it protects it. So it will work with the Sunny Life. It pops this out, it moves this out a little bit, but you know, not a big deal. I could throw it in my case just like that. So between the two of them, you know, the problem with the protective case that comes with the Osmo Pocket 3 is that when people take in and out, they tend to pinch the side, and it pulls on the screen. And when you pull on the screen, you're causing that malfunction. So you don't want to have that happen. This is why I explored this option, because I didn't want my Osmo Pocket 3 to malfunction. And so, well, which kind of gives you the caveat of one of these. So, so again, I like this accessory, but when I started seeing that it can cause gimbal malfunctions, I was kind of like, I don't really want to be causing those. So will I hold on to this? Yes, I'm not going to send it back, but I'm only going to use it when I absolutely need to use it. This is the type of accessory that you don't just throw it on for the sake of throwing it on. You put it on for the times when you really need it. So keep that in mind. And of course, the magnetic mount. Here's the magnetic mount. So let's say this one here, by the way, let's just go to the computer on this one too. It's a very strong magnet, and I need to show you just how strong it is. So let's go to the computer and go to the, there we go. So this magnet is capable of holding quite a bit of weight, and it's $19.99. Here's a video of it. It comes with the ball head too. I'm currently using the ball head for it. I'm using a different ball head, but I'm using the ball head on my tripod instead, my other tripod. And as you can see, you can put on action cameras and things like that. It holds something like 44 pounds, I think they were saying. It can hold quite a bit of weight. It's capable of holding the weight of a mirrorless camera. So I'm going to get to that. 20 kilograms it'll hold. So there's I think that's a Canon, what is that, a Canon, like, let me just zoom in on that. That's a Canon 90D. Oh my God. And I don't know if you know about Canon 90Ds, but they're a very heavy camera. They're not light. That's a full-blown DSLR camera. And for this to hold that onto a piece of metal, that has a lot to say. Now, of course, you know, they've got it mounted on, like, you know, gates, you know, cars. I don't know if I'd put anything on a vehicle with just a magnet without a safety tether. So let's get into that a little bit too. So when you're putting anything with a magnet onto a car, you should always have some kind of a safety tether just in case it does decide to break loose. It may bang around your car a little bit, but it may still save your equipment, and that's pretty important. Let me just go back to my Pocket 3. So now if you're wondering how I'm able to go back and forth to the Pocket 3, I'm not doing that through editing. I have a video switcher called the OC GoStream Pro video switcher, and I did a review on this video switcher. So if you're wondering how I'm switching camera angles, I'm doing this all in one continuous shot. The only editing I'm doing is just to shorten things up, maybe add a little bit of background music, that sort of thing. So I'm going to turn on my Osmo Pocket 3, and there we go. And I'll push it back a little bit, and I've got the face track enabled. It'll cue me up, fade me over, and here I am again, back on the Osmo Pocket 3. And there was a firmware update, so if your Osmo Pocket 3 is, you can actually shoot 4K through the webcam mode now. This is a very good camera. I did a video just prior to this on how to use, you know, cell phone with your gimbals, with cell phone gimbals, and cheap AI tracking. You have to start somewhere. But as you start to consider new and better equipment, I would strongly recommend the DJI OSMO Pocket 3. Again, I'm unsponsored. I am not an Amazon affiliate, so I'm not going to get a commission if you click on it. When I put all those links on the description, I don't get a commission. So you can rest assured, I bought all the stuff myself, and I firmly believe in what I have here. No one is influencing me, and therefore I am not influencing you. This thing here, this little cover, it's cheap plastic. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's anything but. Does it work? It serves the purpose. Is it overpriced? Absolutely. The same with this. It is just a cheap plastic mold. It is overpriced, but does it do what they claim it does? Yeah, kind of, but it has to be precisely placed onto this device. So probably my least favorite out of all the accessories. Now there was the clip. It looks like this, the small one, and it is made of all metal. I paid $30 for it, but it doesn't do what I wanted it to do with the Z-axis stabilizer. And by the way, this does work if you're using it in the way that you need to. If you're not, it's not going to do much. In other words, in some situations it can actually make the bouncing worse. However, take the active track off. If you're not filming yourself and you're filming something else, it will smooth things out a lot. I've also done videos on how to use a gimbal with action cameras to get extra smooth stabilization. Take care, be safe at work, and I will see you later.